But if you look at yourself. You are a colony of 100 trillion human beings. They are called human cells. And they are all you. And each cell has been living on its own. It has got its mind, it can eat, it can sleep, it can excrete, it can do everything. But for economic reasons, after these chartered accountants came, they said, no, why everybody do everything? We'll come together. So about 100 trillion of them joined together and made a colony called the human body. And you think your human body is solid? There's nothing solid about you. You are like the television screen. I'm talking here. It's like Amitabh Bachchan talking on the television or Hema Malini dancing. You put the television on, Hema Malini starts dancing. You put it off, Hema Malini is dead. But you go to the dining room and put it on, Hema Malini is born there. That's what exactly happens to the human cell. This was found out by a cell biologist called Bruce Lipton. Bruce Lipton. There's a beautiful book you must read called Biology of Belief. This is a fascinating book. This man was an atheist. He never believed in God. And he was a professor of anatomy in the Wisconsin Medical School. And he was a cell biologist. And he was studying not the dead cells like most anatomists study, which he calls as the tombstone of a cell. He was studying a live cell. And he was studying this live cell. And then he saw the cell is live, moves about, does everything. It excretes, it thinks, it can. You just put a drop of poison at one end of the petri dish, the cell runs away from the poison. You put a drop of some good food there, the cell runs into the food and eats it. Then he saw, on the day you are made, you are the one cell. You are called zygote. Your weight is 0.1201 gram. But that one cell, when suddenly gets a connection, that's what's called the integral membrane protein with an antenna, like your television antenna, it gets a connection from universal consciousness. And the cell becomes live. And it just starts doing everything. This man was looking at it. My God, he said, I thought science runs this world, but look at it, something beyond science runs this world. And he became a believer, and he wrote this book, and now goes around preaching. Like our friend Sapna, who left her ophthalmology and went around preaching, Bruce now goes around preaching like a preacher, people to have belief in God because it's God who runs the world. That's what's called the biology of belief. Somebody was talking about emotions. The two people, our chartered accountant and our psychiatrist. Emotions have been proved to be chemicals. There is this girl called Candace Pert, a brilliant PhD student who came to the palace. America's NIH is called the palace, where all kings sit. Like, here, ICMR is a palace. And like that, they're all big people. I call them Sarkari scientists. And there are Sarkari intellectuals here who give opinion on everything under the sun, from sun to the moon. Everything they give. So the Sarkari scientist, the head was what's called Saul Snyder. Snyder is a big name, a Lasker Award winner and a big name. So this girl started her postdoc with Snyder, who had some money, for finding out opiate receptors, which are known to be only in the brain, because we thought the brain, mind is only in the brain at that time. So he told her, find out if the opiate receptors are elsewhere. This girl took to it like fish taking to water. She worked very hard, day and night, day and night, day and night. But by the time the money was spent, there was nothing left. And still she has not got the receptor. So Saul called her, I don't want to waste my money on you. This research is over. You go and do something. I don't want you as a postdoc. But this girl said, I'm going to find it one day. Something inside her saying, I'm going to find it one day. So she told him, I don't want money, sir, but I'll continue in this lab. He said, for a change, okay, continue in the lab. 6 months later, she found out an opiate receptor in the muscle. Opiate receptor in the blood vessel. And she was so excited. And she had worked so hard, she deserved a holiday. She locked her laboratory and went away for a long holiday. Then something sensed in this fellow, something is amiss. So he called the laboratory technicians and said, what was this girl doing at night? They said, sir, she was working on the same thing and she has found something. Is it? Then lock was removed at night. And he got the ledger and got all her data. And before she came back from the holiday, he published the data in a paper. And he was so influential that he went to Swiss Academy and said, this is the thing I have found. And they said, okay, you will get the Nobel Prize. So Nobel Prize was declared in his name, but was not given because the date had not come. When this girl, Candace, came back, she was so fuming Because he said, this fellow who destroyed my career now wants to steal my data. Very bold girl. So she went directly to Geneva and Zurich and then talked to all the members and said, this is my work, this is my original data, this fellow has photostarted it, this is not his journal. And of course, Saul did not get his Nobel Prize. Candace lost her job. Candace lost her standing in community, thrown out. Candace wrote a book, Molecules of Emotion. Beautiful book. Molecules of Emotion. Please get that book and read it. Candace Pert, C-A-N-D-A-C-E-P-E-R-T is her name. And read that book. And there's a beautiful sentence I'll tell you. Time will come when you get a headache, you don't look for a pill, instead sit in one place and elevate your consciousness to the level where your own brain produces enough opioids to kill your pain. Full stop. What a beautiful thing. And that is the future of medicine, my dear friends. But we have to take it out, de-link it from money. Unless you de-link medicine from money, this medicine will kill mankind. I don't know how many of you have read this beautiful article. If you have not, read it in the Google free. It's called Death by Medicine. There are 5 authors. The first author's name is Gary Null, G-A-R-Y-N-U-L-L. Please read that. You will get a shock of your life that we are the leaders of death in the world. Followed by cancer low down and heart attack much lower down. On the top of the list. In a country where we think there are so much checks and balances, if it could happen, you horrified, you take the audit in India, my God, you will be shocked. That is why we went to the IOM, convinced them that the future of health definition should not have absence of disease, because there is nobody who has no disease. If I now scan all of you with the TBS, all of us will have not one cancer, 10 to 15 cancers. But they don't become cancers, they all die. When do they die? When you have a good mind and when you want to help someone, cancer cannot grow in you. But when you eat a lot, like a pig, and hate everyone, cancers grow like a tree. And that's what happens. And it's in the mind. Everything is in the mind. And where is the mind? Never mind. And the mind is everywhere. It's in my hand. And who is the mind? For every 9 cells of germs in my body, I have 1 cell of mine. In your body, for every single cell of yours, you have 9 germ cells. In your own genome, we are saying we have human genome, we know everything, we do genetic engineering, we'll do stem cell. We don't even know one by one a millionth of a genome, because genome contains 23,000 human genes and 2.5 trillion germ genes. Germinomes, metabolomes, virinomes, all of them put together, the metagenome is all germs. And I have written an article, you read that, it's a simple article called Germs Are Us. Toys R Us you have seen, So I wrote Germs Are Us. We are germs. So when I say, did your father have diabetes? Yes, sir. Oh, then you become a diabetic. With fear itself, the sugar will go up. Your father's diabetes has nothing to do with you. Because your father and you, the relationship is 1 in a million zeros, 1. But you may be a diabetic if the germs is a diabetic. So you are a germ's child. And these germs are our friends. We have come one full circle from Pasteur. Louis Pasteur said, germs kill. And then they say, germ theory was born, and that's why mankind is alive. It was a great day for medicine, and antibiotics were Today it's a very sad day for medicine, because there are 500 antibiotic molecules. They cannot even touch some of the germs which have grown in the hospital called superbugs. And do you know how we kill it? When Morarji Desai used to drink his own urine, we used to laugh at him. Didn't you laugh? You also must have laughed. Because most of us are RNIs. You know RNI? Resident non-Indians. Most of us live here, think with American mind. Now, America, do you know what they are doing? Because patients are dying like flies in the intensive care unit with nosocomial infections. One Professor Chu in Johns Hopkins Hospital, she went into veterinary science. In the veterinary science, for hundreds of years, infections were treated not by the present vets who use antibiotics. In the olden days, vets, cow's infection was used by cow dung. This girl did a bold thing. The patient was dying of a simple Clostridium difficile infection. And otherwise, the patient was very healthy. So she gave the shit of her patient's own mother, 250 shit, emulsified, put it in a tube and put it in the mouth. By evening, the patient became all right. Now for severe infection, the treatment is, in American jargon, fecal transplant. Fecal transplant. Morarji Desai was drinking urine. Today it is fecal transplant. Now America says human urine has so much of kallikreins and so much of immune boosters that it could be treatment. And cow's urine is now patented for treatment as an immune booster.